It is I, Aster Fortuna, Bard Extraordinaire, with yet another story for you. But what's this? A flashback? Yes, we're going to step back in time 160 years to the world outside World 83. This time, you'll hear Josh as Zartok, the Tiefling Wizard, and he is joined by two others. You'll hear Jessica as Calantha Moira, the Eladrin Rogue. You'll hear Andy, yes, the same Andy who played Finn McCaspinner, but this time he is playing Crowlip, the Aarakocra Barbarian. Unfortunately, we have to warn you about the audio this episode. Andy was playing remotely and had some technical problems. His audio switched back and forth between moderate and low quality. You'll also hear a few places in which a narrator from a nature documentary has broken in to narrate the Aarakocra's actions. You'll also find that Mike, the DM, has somewhat poor quality in his audio because he is talking louder than normal so that Andy can hear him. Audio problems aside, we hope you enjoy Zartok's adventures. I'm not in the story, and there isn't any singing, but, well, I'm sure it will be fine. Let's join Zartok in the city of Laravella, where we'll hear not only of Zartok's escape from the rising sea levels that were destroying entire cities, but also his escape from something more nefarious.
It is the 15th day of Mithelveen Dun, 1483, and normally this would be the time to plant crops. Recent events have made this difficult for most farmers in the Elven Empire of Reged, because with sea levels rising, levees and dikes bursting, and the social disorder this creates, most people are focused on relocating to higher ground. Zartok the Wizard is sitting under a large tent in the elvish stronghold of Laravella. The tent's occupant is selling alcoholic beverages, and Zartok is having a glass of dwarven flame whiskey. Being a tiefling, he doesn't really notice the heat, but that just means he can appreciate the other flavors more. Zartok is a tiefling with long black hair, deep red skin, black tattoos down his forearms, and a long thick tail that ends in a narrow point. His tail is currently hovering worryingly over his head as he drinks. Zartok's horns protrude straight out of his forehead, but 2/3 of his right horn has been cut off. Zartok has spent his morning trying to find ways to be helpful to the refugees camped outside Laravella, but there's not a lot for Zartok to do without using up some spell slots. He has helped repair some worn clothing and equipment with a mending spell, but many people are suspicious of wizards, and some even blame them for the global warming and resulting sea level rise of the past several centuries. Still, when someone's offering to help in times like these, no one turns it down. Zartok, as you're sitting there, an elven woman you recognize walks by the tent, and she sort of does a double take, and then walks in and sits down next to you. And it is your ex-wife, Morada. And she looks down at the counter, and she says, "I heard about your mother and sister. I'm sorry. It's terrible."
Yeah, it is terrible.
Yes, well, look, you were a terrible husband, but you were a good son and a great brother, and I'm sure you'll work your way through this. Well, goodbye.
Yeah, that was about what I expected from you.
She gets up and leaves a gold coin on the counter, nods at the bartender, and just walks out.
That was the worst counseling I've ever gotten. I think my grief is 10 times worse.
The bartender gives you a sympathetic look. But almost immediately afterward, 2 more people walk straight up to you into the tent. One is a female elf of noble bearing, pale skin with blue eyes and brown hair. She is clearly accustomed to being in charge. And her companion is, to put it simply, an enormous chicken. Well, actually more like a rooster, an Aarakocra specifically. And he has an enormous sword strapped to his back. He turns his head quickly left and right, making clucking noises. That's your cue, Andy. He turns his head sideways and looks at you with that beady eye.
I'm imagining like a velociraptor with lots of feathers and a giant sword, was it?
Yes.
That's terrifying, actually.
Yeah, think like a bowerbird about the size of Andre the Giant, but
Lord.
with the same distant look as the chicken from Moana.
Okay, that's...
That's your cue. Kilantha, is that how it's pronounced?
Kilantha.
Kilantha, that's your cue.
Andy, how do I pronounce yours? Just so I'm saying it right.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to.
Nailed
Nope.
it. Nailed it.
Oh, I can do that easy.
Krolip.
Krolip. Okay.
So this is, Kilantha, this is the wizard that you've heard about, has been helping with the refugees in the area, and so you finally found this guy.
I look over at Krolip, nod towards the wizard, and walk quickly over towards him, sitting down beside him. Good day.
Hey, good day.
I was wondering if perhaps I could interest you in a proposal.
Maybe? My ex-wife just stepped out.
I sit down like 2 seconds too late, kind of interrupting the middle of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I sit down next to them, just like kind of interrupting as soon as the conversation starts and just like looking at both of them quickly
Okay.
before settling at the table.
I don't even notice. I'm used to this sort of behavior from him.
That's rather disturbing, I say. What's that?
Oh, that's just Krolip.
All right. Nice to meet you.
He says, nice to meet you.
I just kind of look at you quizzically, but then you realize that my eyes are too empty to actually have a thought behind them.
So that proposal I had for you, it's important that I go to a local house. There's something there that I would like to retrieve, and I believe that you could be instrumental in assisting me with that.
All right. This is very vague, but yeah, I'm listening.
You don't need much information. I would be willing to pay you, of course, for your assistance. And perhaps there would be something valuable found at the end of this.
Why do you think that?
Little whispers.
All right. Little whispers, you say.
I do.
So I'm going to trust you and your big bird friend here.
Oh, he's harmless.
Yeah, sure. Look at it. It's a giant ostrich.
At that moment, I kind of turn my head towards my companion and kind of just peck her on the shoulder while looking sideways at the wizard.
I say to Krolip. We'll see, dear. We'll see. There's a house. It was my family's house. It was seized from us, we'll say.
All right, here we come with the specifics. I like that.
I would like to return to this house and liberate it.
All right.
I don't know that there's actually anyone living there. It may be simple. However, it might not.
Sounds straightforward, but I have two problems here. First, your gold could be useless to me here in the next couple years. The world is flooding over. I'm not sure I even need gold much more longer.
I might have a solution for that as well.
But you just throw out this bait and just leave me hanging?
I do. I don't want to tell you things
Like
that
I'm
may
reading a
not be
story.
true.
All right. What is it then?
Well, for starters, if you are amicable to this deal, I would like to give you this. And she hands you a scroll.
All right, what does it look like?
Being somewhat confused by the situation, I pull out a bag of pellets and throw some on the table and just start pecking at the table as they keep talking.
There is a very heavy sigh as he starts pecking the table.
Are you sure he's properly fed?
Yes.
I just look at him while still pecking at the table and just do it for long enough to where it becomes uncomfortable.
Is he coming with us? Is that part of the deal?
Of course. He's very helpful in his own way.
I'm sure.
As you're talking, Zartok's tail sort of lifts up and hovers over his shoulder and almost appears to be looking back and forth between Kilantha and Krolip. It seems to be looking back and forth, and then it looks at Zartok.
What do you think, friend?
It gives sort of a weird wavy motion that suggests to you that it might be shrugging.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it so far. How much gold we talking about?
Well, for starters, you'll notice that scroll I handed you is Operate Spelljammer Helm. It could come in handy.
All right. Do I know what that do I know what Spelljammer Helm means? Do I know what any of that means?
You know that a spelljammer is a magical ship, but you've never seen this spell before.
Yeah, this is all new to me. I'm interested intellectually in this at this moment, but I'm gonna have to take a look at this. I need some time with this. I've never seen this before.
That's fair, as long as you don't try to, take
I won't
sir.
eat it.
I didn't think you were going to eat it.
Your friend might.
That's why I keep it away from him.
Does this look like a very like as I'm reading this, does it look like a complicated spell, or is this like...
It's a first level spell.
Okay.
It can be cast at higher levels.
Okay.
But you can't really tell much beyond that about exactly how it works.
Okay.
It looks like whoever has written this scroll down has written the bare minimum necessary to cast it.
Yeah. Oh, this feels a bit like the details are scraped away.
In fact, it doesn't even say operate Spelljammer Helm on it. It just has a spell with the instructions.
Unfortunately, I cannot help you much with that scroll. It is not something I am knowledgeable in.
Now, you know that learning a spell will cost 50 gold pieces in materials, 2 hours of time, and you'll have to make, because it's a first level spell, a DC 11 Arcana check.
I think I can do this, but first...
Well, first of all, I, of course, do not want you to have to pay to learn this spell that is mine. So I reach into a pouch, I pull out 50 gold, and lay it across the table. Opposite from Krollup, so he doesn't try eating it.
Yeah, that's smart.
My eyes, the eye that is to the side of the wizard stays normal, but to the side that that my companion is at, it widens.
A lot of gold.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be sounding mad.
Hush, Krollup.
That's an angry bird. All right, am I take this now? Where's the rest? You giving me just enough to get the job done.
I have. You'll have the rest upon completion.
And how much?
I have given you a spell that you did not have. I am paying you to learn that spell.
All right.
There is at least another 50 after, perhaps more, and any cut of anything we earn along the way.
I go ahead and sit straight up, having eaten most of my pellets by this point, and I look at my companion while just making a low purr, trying to have a conversation with her.
Yes, my dear, I know that's a lot of money, but this is important.
Your tail, Zartok, is still making kind of a shrugging motion, but a little bit more affirmative now. It's nodding up and down. It points at the gold.
Might I ask you a question?
Yeah, what is it?
What's going on with your tail? I've met many tieflings, and I have not seen a reaction like that.
Yeah, well, it kind of has a mind of its own, if you will.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, it's not as interesting as your giant bird.
In your opinion?
Yeah, well, my tail ain't ever killed anyone. I'm sure it has.
As far as you know, he's not killed anyone either.
I go ahead and make a noise as a response to what you just said. Sort of almost, not necessarily guilty, but almost like, not my fault.
Yeah, you see?
Sometimes you have to do certain things.
I understand. All right, I'll tell you what. Let me take a look at this spell. You talk to me tomorrow. Let me get a handle over this, and we'll see.
Very well.
I'll meet you back here, I suppose.
In the morning.
But I'm taking that. He's pointing to the gold on the table. Taking all this, right? And as he's reaching over, he's looking at the bird to make sure like that beak doesn't come down on his fingers. He's kind of scoops it over his way.
My mouth is just slightly open, large enough to where if it were to come down, I could snap one, but I don't.
I'm watching you, trying to read you and decide if you're about to take my spell and my money and run.
He's putting it like poker chips, and he's stacking the gold and like kind of counting it. And he bites one with his fang, and it doesn't bend in half. So these are gold coins, right? Not like gold bits or something.
They're gold coins.
Gold coins, okay. But he just gives it a chew, gives it a taste. Seems real.
There has been some currency debasement going on in some of these nations in the area, but these seem like quality gold coins.
These are good. Where'd you come upon this?
That is for me to know, and perhaps for you to find out.
A woman of secrets. With a giant bird.
It's good to have friends.
Where are you from?
All over.
Just where's he from? Point at a bird.
There you go.
I know what that is. No, I don't.
Neither do I.
From what you can tell from what Krolip is wearing, it seems that most of his garments are fairly tattered. It hasn't been taken care of for a while. If you pay attention, the plumage is very clean, but everything that he's wearing is basically falling apart. And a lot of the patterns don't actually look like something that would have been made in the local area.
So he's wearing something that's probably not local, and he's
You're from
probably
far
not local
away.
himself. Yeah.
Okay.
My clothes are well made. Are we currently in the lowlands? Or
No, you're up in the mountains
Okay.
outside the last great fortress of the elves of Laravella.
Yeah.
So you are far above sea level at this point.
My clothes are very nice. They do not seem local. They seem, I don't know if you're familiar with it, from down in the lowlands.
All right, let me paraphrase a bit. So, we're going to sneak into this house.
That's right.
I have to know this spell
Perhaps.
for a reason which will remain a mystery to me
I
until the
don't
time
know
presents
if
itself.
you will need the spell. I certainly will not. So
All right.
think of it as a form of payment.
It's fair so far, I think. But what happens if worst comes to worst, we get caught? Do you have some sort of legal connection here or something?
Well,
It
things
belongs to
are.
a family of yours.
Does not belong to my family currently.
I see.
And I have connections. If something were to go wrong, I believe I would be able to find us assistance. I do not expect things to go wrong, though.
Your tail is constantly moving, right?
It is.
Yeah, right now his tail is sort of observing.
Okay, by this point it's almost as if the tail and Krolip have locked eyes, if the tail had eyes, and I'm just staring at it intently and moving whenever it does.
Yes, the tail looks back at Krolip's eye. They're in some sort of staring contest, which is weird because the tail has no eyes.
I'm picturing like a snake charmer sort
Sure.
of
Yeah,
thing,
that's what
where
I-
they're
that's what I
moving
pictured too.
together.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking.
It seems as if our pets have got fond of each other.
It does appear that way.
So what's the plan, Zartok? Are you taking her up on this or what?
Yeah, we gonna do this, right? We gonna do it, but just check back with me tomorrow. I'm gonna see what I think of this spell.
Very well.
I'll be. You can buy me another dwarven stout, right? It's a nice dark beer, right? I'm describing.
Sure.
It. I know my dwarven beers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I go to the counter and leave. I don't know, how much are dwarven stouts usually cost?
A fancy one might be 5 silver. That's an
I'll
expensive one.
I will leave 1 gold, so you can have 2, and then I will motion to Krolip, and we will leave.
When I see her go to the bar to drop off more money, I puff up my chest to where you can see the feathers ruffle under my chest guard, but I still get up on her command and walk out behind her.
So Zartok, you take a look at the spell, I guess.
Yeah.
Roll an Arcana check,
All right, we go red dice today.
and of course it's you've got all your various divination and luck points and such, right?
Yeah, so that's a 14.
Yep.
I need to roll my my portent rolls too.
Yeah.
Should we get that out of the way now?
Sure.
Here?
Well, we probably don't need to worry about it for today. If you
Okay,
succeeded
we'll
on
do it
that
tomorrow.
check, you'll do them again for the next day, though.
Okay, that's a 14 total.
14. You succeed.
All right.
So this is an unusual first level spell. It allows you to control some kind of magical item, but the person who created the scroll provided as few details as possible. You would need someone else to tell you what kind of item to use with it, or else figure it out from context. It's just a first level spell, so it only took you a couple hours to learn it. So after those 2 hours, I guess you're gonna have to think about it a little bit, practice some of the motions a bit. You go for a walk to puzzle over the spell some more, trying to figure out what it does. Its casting time is 1 action. It only affects you, the caster. It should last apparently about 12 hours. It does require concentration, and it can be cast at higher spell levels, though you don't know what that does.
Okay.
You walk around the towering walls of the city, which are being repaired. They were in rough shape, but they're being repaired by hired refugees. Even here at the wall, you can see that there are these towering trees at the city center. And this is, that this is, or was, a Spelljammer port. Again, Spelljammers are these magical ships that can fly through air and possibly even beyond. At one time, the trees were trained to serve as the docking facilities for these ships, allowing a variety of ships to land, even if they were not designed for landing. because some ships can only land on water, some can land in the air, and some can only dock in special places. This is for just about anything to dock. The trees have been allowed to grow wild, however, and there are no ships docked right now. You've heard no ships have visited the area in a long time. Everyone got out while the going was good. And for listeners or anyone who's not familiar, Spelljammer was a 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons setting that was basically Dungeons & Dragons in space. A mountain rises to the north behind the city, and it's dotted with more trees, expensive mansions, more fortifications, and an observatory. Some of the mansions have their own spelljamming landing facilities, but like the port, they are devoid of ships. You eventually return to your encampment, and you try to get some sleep. Anything in particular you want to do before going to bed, or is it just time to get some rest?
Well, yeah, I think he'll think about what this mission might need, and then maybe just think about what spells to prepare.
All right.
But that'll be the primary outward facing what he's doing.
Okay. You might want to go ahead and roll your portent rolls.
Plenty of thoughts going on. All right, let's just roll. Go ahead and roll 220. All right, a 4 and an 18.
All right, 4 and 18. So 4 would be useful if you want someone to fail something.
Someone else to fail,
and
yeah.
18 is useful if you want to succeed in something.
All right, he wakes up the next day.
Right.
Gets into his rituals here.
All right, so you're getting your spells prepared. You're getting ready to go. And you're still a little groggy, but you are fully brought to full alertness by a loud crash from outside your tent in the direction of the city. And as you look outside the tent, you find complete chaos has erupted everywhere. People around you are running around in a panic, staring up at the sky.
What's all this then? I gotta check it out. Like, what's
okay?
Just looking up. Do I look up? What's up?
I don't know. Do you want to look up?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
ask me what you do.
Definitely looking up.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you have to tell me.
I look up. Zartok looks up.
So looking up, you can see something truly bizarre in this dim morning light. There are 4 large spelljamming ships shaped like enormous spiders that have docked at the spelljamming port. They've just sort of rammed off some of the branches and landed at the others. A 5th one is floating downward, preparing to rest on the extended branches of the towering trees. There should be guards manning artillery mounted on platforms in the trees, but you don't see any elves there. Instead, you see large bipedal insect-like creatures streaming out of the ships, climbing down trees or running down the staircase around the trees. Some of them have already made it to the bottom, but you can't tell what's happening on the ground inside the city because you're outside the walls, so the walls are blocking your view. All you can hear is screaming and the sounds of combat.
All right, that's not good. That's not good. Has he seen spelljammer ships before, or did he just know them?
No, you know of them, but they're not common anymore.
Okay.
So there's like a giant,
and they're like
giant insects that are coming out of the
out of these ships.
the ship.
That's
but
right.
They're like anthropomorphic insects.
That's right.
Right?
They're bipedal. They have 2 arms, 2 legs, but they look like insects. They look like giant insects. They have big bulbous eyes, and they're climbing into the city. Kilantha and Krolip come running up to you. They apparently were somewhere nearby.
I believe it's time for us to go.
well, this changes everything
It
completely.
does indeed.
No, we have to deal with that.
I think we have to
point.
leave.
Your tail looks at you and shakes back and forth.
I hate how powerful you are over me.
She gives you a weird look.
Listen,
Krolip is really excited by all of the commotion, and he's constantly tapping his companion in the shoulder, trying to get her attention. Like looking at the insects and then tapping her and then looking at the insects.
No, you cannot catch one. There are far too many of them for us. We need to go.
well, these people need our help from whatever that is, and we can't go
We
gallivanting
cannot
off.
take on 5 ships full of insects. There are 3 of us.
Are the insects acting hostile towards anyone, or are they just...
Based on the screaming and sounds of combat, it sounds like
Good
they
summary.
are
Okay.
wreaking havoc inside the city. You know there's a city guard, so there must be some kind of fighting going on.
What about the refugees that Zartok actually cares about?
They are
they're
all
not in the
picking up
city?
their stuff and getting out of here.
Okay, so they don't look like they're in immediate danger.
No,
at the
they're all
moment.
camped outside the city.
All right, listen. Let me just real quick make sure that these people are okay, and then we're gonna.
You are wasting time. They may cut off our route.
All right. When you're right, you're right. Let's go.
Kalantha, you can see the Namora, did I pronounce that correctly? Namora
Yes.
family, the Namora family manor house on the side of the mountain. You know that there's a secret entrance that can be accessed from outside the city, but you could also try to go straight through the city and in the front door. The giant bipedal insect creatures seem to be focused inside the city and not on the homes on the mountainside, but you do see a couple creatures sort of wandering up the mountainside. Going straight through the city might be faster unless you get caught up on the chaos inside.
I'm going to take the secret entrance. I want to stay outside the city.
Kilantha leads Krolip and Zartok around the outside of the walls, around to the west side of the mountain which is at the north of the city.
As we start walking out, I sort of just look at my companion and fly off ahead.
Okay.
With the intention of essentially just scouting a little bit. Since I can fly and
Sure.
get a little bit more vision, I'll just stay ahead of the group.
Right, so that's a great idea. So you're flying slightly ahead of everyone. You can see that all around the outside of the walls, refugees are picking up their possessions, and they are getting on wagons and horses and leaving. They are getting out of here. It's too dangerous. And inside the city, over the walls, are you flying high enough to see over the walls?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're only like 20 feet tall. All right, so you can see that inside, these giant insect creatures are basically kidnapping people. They are grabbing the residents of the city, and they are dragging them toward the Spelljammer port, dragging them toward the trees.
Okay, I fly a little bit lower to get closer to my companions, and with a... I let her know what's going on.
Okay, actually, make a perception check, Krolip.
Okay.
What's he saying?
I rolled a 1.
Oh.
All right, so yeah, you don't notice anything else, but you manage to tell them what you've seen. You continue walking around. Eventually, you reach this hidden entrance. It's really more of a secret exit for emergencies, and it's on the west side of the mountain. Kilantha, you've already verified that there is a large boulder that will roll aside at your command because it recognizes you as a Namora family member. You have not explored much further than that, though, beyond checking to see that it opens. That's somewhat unfortunate, as you know that the area you ultimately want to reach is accessible only via the 5th floor in the tower. You don't know exactly how that works, though, as the tower seems to stand alone, the tower inside this manor complex, with no access to anywhere interesting. You just know that family legend records that the place you're trying to get to is only accessible by the 5th floor of the tower. All right, so you make your way around the city walls, dodging the groups of panicking refugees as everyone's packing up.
Can I make a knowledge check on the bug creatures? Or do I just not know what they are?
Make a, let's see, either Arcana or History.
That's 21.
With Arcana?
Yeah.
You think these are Umber Hulks?
Umber Hulks. What is that exactly?
They are exactly as I described them, giant insect creatures with big pincers and mouth full of razor-sharp teeth.
When you said the name of the creature, are you actually saying it in game?
Zartok knows what it is. I don't know. Is he going to tell everyone?
I'll tell you in a second. I'll tell you once I I know exactly all that I know.
With a roll that high, you know that their eyes are known to have some sort of powerful confusion effect. They're really dangerous.
All right.
But they're normally thought to live underground.
Okay, so are they from this world or are they from somewhere else?
You know that there are some on this world.
Okay. Is it can we, I don't know, game mechanics wise, if we were to run into one, can we avoid making eye contact to...
You're not exactly sure how that works, but yes, you think maybe avoiding making eye contact would help, but give you some pretty big disadvantages in a fight.
Okay, sure. All right, so I'll, once we stop running, catch our breath, I'll tell you, I think those are Umber Hulks, yeah? They got these eyes, they appear into your soul, whatever, and they're quite confusing. So if we run into one of these, just don't look them in the eye, if that makes sense. That should no problem for you, I know.
I look at you quizzically while making noises, Sardok.
Krolip would like to know if he can eat them. I feel like that would be a mistake.
Are these sentient good creatures that I think
they
should
are
live?
definitely evil, and you're not sure how smart they are. They're not completely unintelligent.
Krolip, as far as I'm concerned, Eat as many as you want. Just go to town like cereal. Pour milk in a bowl.
Must you encourage him?
Yeah, I think I might actually like him. I think. We'll see.
There's another very deep sigh.
He looks very happy. Like the wings started to just quiver a little bit as soon as you said that I could eat them.
So as you make your way around the city, there are no guards outside the city trying to maintain order. They've all gone into the city to help with the fight. The walls are getting taller as you near the mountainside. You continue onward past the end of the walls, around the west side of the mountain. Kilantha begins looking around, counting landmarks, 2 medium boulders, a large fruit tree, 3 watchtowers, until finally arriving at a pile of rubble. And there's a single large boulder that appears to have rolled down the mountain and settled here. Kilantha, I will let you choose what the command phrase is to open this thing.
I think she reaches out, touches it gently, and says just the family name, Nemora.
All right, she does that, and the boulder levitates upward. And you can see a tunnel stretching into the mountainside ahead of you with no light sources visible. The walls are smooth and flat, and the passage is as straight as an arrow, sloping gently upward.
Oh, that's neat.
I agree. I thought this would be the wise way to go. And I motion for the others to go in.
All right, everyone goes inside.
I'll let a bird go first.
Yeah, I go ahead and take the lead while pulling out my sword and moving forward.
You go inside. The boulder, as you all enter, the boulder lowers behind you, and it is now completely dark in here.
That's comforting. Zartok is going to cast mage armor on himself now.
All right, that lasts, what, 12 hours?
I think it's 8.
8 hours.
This sounds like might need it.
All right, so Zartok casts mage armor. Who has dark vision? Who can see in the dark here?
I do.
All right.
I can see.
Yeah, I don't have dark vision.
I have dark vision.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
The Arakokra is going to need some kind of light source. Anyone have any?
Move forward confidently while constantly hitting the walls.
I reach out for Krolup and stop him. Krolup, dear, why don't you stay back here with Zartok and allow me to go forward? And I will stealth about 30 feet in front of the group.
Okay. Roll a stealth check.
Great. Leave me alone with the psycho bird.
I look at him and just like, as soon as he looks away, I quickly peck out one of the horns and then keep moving forward.
Hey, what good is he going to do if he can't see?
Then give him some light. I move forward with a 23 stealth.
All right, you sneak forward. The path just continues forward through this smooth, straight passageway. It goes quite a distance into this mountainside. So are you guys doing anything for Krolup's light, or are you just going to let him sort of hang on to Zartok?
Zartok's thinking at the moment is that, does he know if Umberhulks can see in the dark, or?
You don't know.
Ah, bugger.
But you do know they live underground, so it's a good
They
bet
probably
that they
can
do.
see under, yeah.
Seems logical.
If that's the case, then he's got a staff. This has a crystal orb on it, and he'll use that to cast light.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way,
As soon as the light comes up, you feel the uncomfortably tight grip that I had on you release.
Krolup relaxes.
I see those soulless eyes, and I still don't feel better about this whole situation.
And now you're by yourself with him.
I don't know if I'd rather be up there with the killer bugs or down in the hole with that bird.
You continue walking. After about 10 minutes of walking down this passage, the path makes a sharp 180-degree turn and continues sloping gently upward. As soon as you round the corner, however, you encounter a pit 30 feet across. It must be 50 feet deep. It would be impossible to leap across this. There's no room for a running start.
Is there room for a chicken to fly over it?
Certainly, a chicken could try to fly over it.
So, looking at my companions and my strength, would I have the ability to carry them over the pit one person at a time?
Neither of them's particularly heavy, right?
No.
So, yeah, I think you could probably carry them.
Okay, perfect. So I go ahead and do that. Actually, it doesn't matter. I have the aspect of the bear totem. So that doubles my carry capacity, so I should be able to carry them one at a time pretty easily.
Okay.
Hold on. You're going to put me in your talons?
I'll go
and fly me
first
over.
if it makes
Yeah,
you
let's see.
feel
I'm
better.
gonna see how you do this with your friend.
Yeah.
All right, but I'm not gonna hold up everything. I just want to show that Zartok.
When you make the comment about my talents, I sort of just like shoot a sharp look at you, almost like I was a little offended by what you said. And I go ahead and I do have inverted legs, but
Right.
I don't pick up my companion with them. I grab her as a normal person, and then just use my wings, which are separate from my arms, to
Gotcha.
float up
Okay.
a little bit, make sure that I can hold the weight, and then carry her over before dropping her off, albeit not as nicely as I could have.
Make an athletics check. I want to see how elegantly you do this.
Oh, God. Roll well.
Okay. 17.
Great. So you fly across with great ease, and you drop her on the other side and fly back again.
So I fly back over, and I give like a bit of a scoff that I have to pick him up, but I go ahead and open my arms, signaling for you to go ahead and walk into them.
Yeah, this is so weird, but all right, let's just do this. And he does.
So as you walk in, I go ahead and grab you tightly.
Oh.
I try to grip your tail within my grip.
Yeah, that's snug. That's a bit
All right.
snug.
The tail slaps you gently on the face.
And I go ahead and carry him over. And as I get there, maybe 2 or 3 feet from the floor, I just release.
Okay.
So not quite as gently as my companion.
All right. So Zartok, you are dropped somewhat unceremoniously on the floor on the opposite side of this pit.
I'm standing, waiting, arms crossed, giving Zartok a look like, obviously, this worked.
Yeah. Thanks, bird.
I look at Sartok and I start pecking at the orb and looking at you, sort of asking, like, can I grab it?
I think the light is coming from the top of his staff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an orb on the top of his staff.
You want to grab my? He's not going to give you a staff. He's like holding it kind of away from you. If that's what you're motioning.
Does Krollup want to go check out the
pit?
Is that? I believe he wants to go.
Yeah.
Krollup would like to go check the pit. Is there any way you could provide him light down there?
Yeah, hold on to this. Zartok hands him the staff with the light glowing on the...
All right, he hands you the glowing staff.
I grab it with my beak instead of my hands and start flying down.
Okay.
Very slowly, I just want to see what's at the bottom of the pit.
All right, so here's something interesting happens. As soon as Krollup starts to fly down toward the pit, he slams into an invisible barrier.
Well...
In fact, it's as though there were like a glass invisible barrier blocking him from flying down into the pit.
I want to reach out, seeing this, and touch, see if I can reach into the pit just with my hand.
Okay, you feel around for a bit. Here's what you figure out: is here at this edge of the pit, there is an invisible wall of force that's about 3 feet wide, and it starts here at the edge of the pit. It doesn't reach all the way across side to side, and it seems to stretch out across the pit.
Oh, because this is supposed to be an exit. So you can actually walk across this wall of force and jump across to get out, but you don't know that it's there coming in.
Exactly.
After I hit my face, I go ahead and get up, sort of touch my head with my wing, and I throw the staff back, slide it down the floor, and then just simply start. I put my wings to my body and put my legs together. Since they're inverted, I almost look like a 4-foot tall bird.
Okay.
And I just start pecking at the floor, seeing if I can see where the edges are.
So it goes all the way across the pit to the other side, the side you started on, and there's about a 2-foot gap before you reach the solid ground on the other side. So it goes all the way across. You could have taken a 2-foot jump and then walked the rest of the way across the pit. As far as side to side, it goes about 3 feet side to side, and the tunnel is about 10 feet wide here. So you could drop off the side and fly down into the pit if you wanted to.
I've already lost interest in this. So my character, after I figure out where the wall is, I go from looking like a bird with my wings covering everything to just back standing like a normal person and do a quick hop and jump over to the to where they are. I'm calling it a hop, but really it's like I do a small hop and beat my wings once and then land.
All right. So you have made it across the devious pit trap by simply flying over it. The tunnel continues to stretch into the mountainside ahead of you. Continue along, or what's the plan?
Zartok's going to get his staff back.
Right, of course.
And he's going to clean it off with his robe while I'm Calantha and just giving her this look like, yeah, that's not happening ever again.
She just shrugs and...
He put it in his mouth. He's got 2 arms and he put it in his mouth.
You can feel that my tongue definitely gripped it at some point.
Yeah.
He may have needed his arms for something. You don't know. I will stealth ahead again. Still about 25, 30 feet ahead of the group.
As you continue forward, eventually, the tunnel ends after switching back one more time on itself in a flat wall with a small wooden door at the bottom. It is maybe 2 feet tall, this little door.
Well, that is a very small door.
I mean, it's wide enough that all of you could squeeze under and through it. It would be tight, but you could all get through it.
I'd like to check it for traps.
Okay, make a perception check.
Oh, that's not great. 9.
You see no traps.
Nope, I wouldn't think so.
You do determine that it's locked.
Okay. I would like to unlock it.
All right, that is your proficiency bonus plus your dexterity to use the tool.
That is a 17.
All right, you can't quite get the lock open. It seems pretty seriously well designed. You think you're getting close, but you couldn't quite get it.
Can I try again?
I would let you try again with disadvantage.
Okay.
Unless someone wants to help you in some way.
I'll go ahead and help her. So I'll use the helping action.
Okay.
And I'll essentially try to just peck around the door to see if there's any loose rubble, to see if the door's an illusion or if there's something else that we can do.
Okay, so Curlip's going to try to help you, so just roll again.
Hey, that's a 17 again.
You think you've almost got it figured out, but you just can't quite. Whatever mechanism is being used to keep this lock in place, it's slightly beyond what you're able to figure out. It doesn't look that tough, though. It's just a wooden door.
Krolip, darling, would you mind opening this door for me?
But before she finishes saying for me, I've already tried bashing into it.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Okay.
Can I use the help action?
Sure.
And give you advantage? Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be easy to hit it. It's just a question of how many times he has to hit it to get it to open.
+6 if it's strength, so 20.
Yep, you hit it. Roll your damage.
All right. Unarmed strike.
You can do unarmed strike, or you can attack it with your weapon, whatever you prefer.
I'll just do unarmed strike, so that's a 1d4 +3. I have talents, so I'm gonna try to just
tear at it.
Use my talents as impact points and just crush the door in.
Okay.
I rolled a 4, so that's 7 damage.
7 damage. A serious hit. The door starts to buckle.
Okay. I go ahead and then just try to push my talent through the bottom part as well to just force the whole thing to fall down.
Right. Make another attack roll.
Why isn't he using his sword?
24.
Yep. You damage it again. Roll your damage again.
What was it?
He wants to use his talents.
All
right. Your hand shoves through the wood through to the other side. The door's still in place, but your arm is through.
As I try to pull my arm back, and what I'm trying to do is get a hold of the door, so when I pull my arm, I just pull the whole door.
Okay. Make another attack roll, this time with advantage.
Thank you for the advantage. That was a 4 for the first roll. 17.
You're damaging it again. Roll your damage this time.
6.
All right, so this time you pull your hand back, and the door just comes with it. Now you have a door on your hand.
Excellent.
I just start pecking at the door, not even trying to get it out. I just want to see what it tastes like.
It tastes like old wood.
That's a nice shield you got.
On the other side of the tiny door, you can see a storeroom. There is a countertop running around this part of the room, and you'll have to crawl out under it to get in. And there's a door straight across the room. Now I'm going to pull up the map here. You guys can see that, yes?
Yes.
There's a cellar
Yes.
looking. Should I not read the location names?
Well, it looks like a cellar. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. I'm going to let you sort of describe this for the listeners and for Andy.
Where are we coming in from?
Loading dungeon.
There we
Dungeon
go.
loading.
Sorry, yes. Loading. You encounter a giant loading screen.
There's a big spinning wheel.
Aha, okay. I had to figure out.
Articulating death traps.
So you enter this room. You are entering, if you're looking at the map, you're coming from the north through this little secret door under the cabinet into the room. And there is no giant one in the room. That's for me.
Got it.
Okay. So let's see. What else do you see in the room?
It's about a 10 by 10 foot room. It's got looks like a door across the way we just entered, and some stairs to our right.
Correct. There are some stairs on the right leading up, and there are several barrels scattered around the room. And the air in this room feels similar to the tunnel. It's cool and dark. It must be a cellar.
Okay, so we're coming from the north, so we're coming from the top side of the room.
Right.
And then we can see to our right is
Stairs.
Stairs that lead upstairs.
Yep.
Aside from that, it's just a cool room.
And there's a door directly across from us.
Okay. Across from us, south at the bottom of the room.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Lead the way, miss. This is your house after all.
Well, sort of. I'll go in and can I do perception? See
Sure.
if I
Make a perception check if you want to look around.
So, question, Mike.
Yep.
Is what kind of floor is this? Is
Stone.
it like a dirt floor or is it like tile?
It's stone.
Stone?
Yep.
Okay. So after I push myself through the little door, I get up and being covered in dust and stone debris, I start cleaning out my feathers.
All right.
Like you can see that I don't care about my clothes, but I'm cleaning out my feathers one by one immaculately.
All right. The Aarakocra begins preening. So your perception check, Kelantha?
22.
22. Looking around the room, other things that you notice, there's a layer of dust on everything. The barrels all have their lids off, slightly ajar, and they are all empty. The door in front of you doesn't look like it can be locked. The stairs go up. Let's see, other things. Actually, you can hear a sound coming from upstairs, sort of a clanking, repetitive clanking sound.
Can I roll something to see if I would have any idea what that is?
Just imagine a repeated metal clinking sound.
Okay, so we hear the metallic thumping sounds from
Right.
upstairs. Nothing from the door across from us?
Correct.
I want to go over and see if that door is locked. No, you said it doesn't lock.
It's unlocked. It doesn't have a lock, yeah.
Then I would like to very quietly open said door.
All right. This is another cellar storeroom. There are some small crates against the wall opposite the door, and 2 large casks of elven wine. A countertop runs around the room on your right. There are no other entrances or exits. I'm going to reveal the room here.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is revealing the room using what looks like a Microsoft Paint tool back and forth.
It's Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Kind of just
Sorry.
erasing the black that's over
He's
top
erasing
of it.
the
It's nice.
darkness using his DM power.
And thus, we were giving light.
Yes. So there's this room. You can see some boxes and barrels in the countertop. As you enter,
No.
a large rectangle of cloth on the countertop suddenly animates and takes on a humanoid form, jumping onto the floor. It walks straight up to Kylantha and says, "Greetings, mademoiselle. I'm afraid the casks are running low, but there is some Falernian red left, and I could probably get a few glasses worth out of the Regedian white. There's also a small cask of dwarven ale, but I don't recommend it."
Okay. I think
I tried to motion to the creature to telling it to give me a glass of the white.
"I'm sorry, I don't understand you."
I sigh deeply and Krolop would like a glass of the white, please.
"Of course, ma'am. Could you get me a glass, please?"
Do I see any glasses?
No.
I don't believe I can provide you with a glass. Can Krolop drink from the barrel?
Of course.
I look excited at the idea of just taking the barrel.
All right. Well, the creature walks over to one of these barrels and says, "Please stick your head under the tap."
I just go ahead and grab the whole barrel out.
Is this a wise idea?
Punch a talon
No.
through the top and start pecking my head into it.
Oh dear. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
It's okay, darling. Curl up, not too much. We have work.
Oh, very well, mademoiselle. It just stands there watching you and watching Crowlip.
I am just
Yeah.
gargling this down.
Uh-oh.
Curl up, stop.
Does Crowlip stop or does he keep going?
Stop your bird.
I stop once they come in and physically move me away from the
Yeah.
barrel.
All right,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
like you to make a
We do that.
constitution check.
God. We're gonna have a drunk chicken.
25.
All right, you're fine.
Whew.
What a hardy bird.
It's a
Jeez.
hardy bird.
So this little collection of cloth stands there looking at you.
Okay, so I thank you, dear. We'll be going now, and turn and head back to the other room.
All right, you had no plans for a talking towel. What-
Who plans for a talking towel?
What else should we expect while we're here?
I have no idea. I never lived here.
You don't have any stories or something?
A few, but not many.
This vagueness, lack of information, it's not going to help me.
You're already here. You are already involved. Just accept it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
After letting out a burp, I start pecking my companion and looking at the cloth, trying to see if she'll interact with it. I just messaged you, by the way.
I go back to the cloth. Darling, can you tell me what's upstairs?
Oh, I haven't been upstairs in a long time. There's more wine usually in the kitchen area, and there's art, and there's furniture, and there's the fireplace, and there are the stairs.
Okay.
And
Okay. Thank you, darling. That's fine. Thank you.
Maybe he can go up there and tell us what is making that racket.
Darling, would you mind going upstairs and looking around and seeing what's there currently?
is that what Mademoiselle wishes?
Yes, I would. I would like you to do that.
Yes, ma'am. So the collection of cloth walks up the stairs.
Always make use of your towels.
It walks up the stairs and walks around the corner. The stairs sort of wind around. And it says, well, there's, hello. There's this big thing moving here. And you can hear the clanking sound moving closer to where the stairs are from your perspective. And he says, yeah, there's a big thing here. And it's got a big sword. And oh dear, this looks... And then you don't hear anything.
And one more deep sigh.
Well, that's too bad. I kind of liked him.
I liked him as well.
I think,
And I shrug my shoulders while putting up my hand.
Yes, Krolp, it is better him than us, but still, he was nice.
hey, Bird, I think you should go up the stairs first.
No.
Well,
And I shake my head as I'm agreeing with the wizard.
yeah, see, we good friends already.
And I shake my head saying no.
I got it.
But yeah, I pull out my sword, and while having my weapon at the ready, I try to move up closer up there while moving stealthily.
What's your stealth roll?
21.
21. All right, so Krolip stealthily moves up the stairs.
I just want to peek around the corner and see what's there.
Right, so you peek around the corner. You can see several bits of cloth have been cut up. And there is a suit of, an elaborate suit of elven armor that is marching down this 10-foot wide, 40-foot long hallway. It reaches the other end, then stops for a moment, and then spins on its heel and begins marching back toward you. It's wearing a tabard with a symbol of a red tree on the front and back. The hallway here is lit by a single magical torch. There is a door 10 feet down the hall on your left, and another door across from it on your right. There is another door on the right about 25 feet away, and then another door, probably a closet, at the far left end of the hallway. And then finally, at the far end, the very end of the hallway, is a door which probably is the front door of the building, and there should be the courtyard beyond it. So let me actually reveal some stuff to the people here so they can see more.
Reveal yourself, darkness.
Well,
All right,
the
good.
darkness is pretty thorough. It needs to.
Reveal yourself, building. Micah's being very careful not to
Very
reveal
careful.
too much of the building. He is skirting the edges with his revealing tool.
So there's this hallway. It's got several doors on it. You're at this.
It's about 40 feet long.
Yeah. So you're looking down this hallway. There. And this thing is marching toward Crowlip.
Having looked at it, my eye constricts, and then I move slowly back down, trying to not let it notice me, so that I can communicate to my team members in a series of squawks and walking motions, trying to act like the guard, showing them what's upstairs.
All right. So Crowlip does this weird little walking dance. It did not see you.
It didn't see me? Okay, perfect. I basically just communicate to them that there's only one enemy upstairs and that there's several doors. And something that looks more like charades rather than talking.
What do you say? Send your bird on in.
I don't want to send just him. Why don't you go up, darling? I'll follow right behind.
And I, with a bit of a pep on my step, I take out my sword and start running up the stairs. As soon as I get to the top, I know it's a suit of armor, but I wait for it to turn around so that I can quote-unquote lock eyes with it.
Okay.
And as I'm realizing the creature that I'm about to go into a fight with, my eyes start dilating and constricting separately, and just creating this almost comical look of my deadless eyes becoming more and more enraged, letting out a very heavy I charge straight at him.
All right. Roll for initiative.
That was an 8.
And what did Kilantha get?
16.
And what did Zartok get?
7. Not in no hurry to get up there.
All right. All right. So, believe it or not, the suit of armor gets to go first. So it sees this enraged giant chicken charging at it, and it pulls back its sword and takes a swing at the Aarakocra. Oh, we have a hit. AC 22 hits, yes?
Yeah, that hits.
All right, so one hit with this sword, and that is only 3 points of damage, and you're raging, so you only take 1.
Yep. So the sword comes in and it tries to cut, but really it's able to slice some of my feathers and barely get into like what's my actual muscle.
Right, so it does almost no harm whatsoever. You ignore the attack. Kalantha, it's your turn.
I'm gonna follow him up the stairs.
Okay.
Like, how close to the stairs are the pair of them?
They're just around the corner. Just maybe, let's say they're 10 feet away from the stairs.
Okay. I'm gonna come up right around the top, just right at the top of the stairs where I can see him, and I'm gonna shoot him with my crossbow.
Great. Make an attack roll.
That's a 1.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Twang.
Should we use the fun fumble table?
I think we should.
Nope,
I think
let's
we
do it.
should.
All right.
I think that's a stretch for the word fun, but yes.
We're not sure who's having fun, but it's fun.
Probably not me.
The listeners are, and
Roll
that's what
percentile.
matters.
That's an 89.
Oh, okay. You trip over the top step as you're running up the stairs to take a shot, and you get sort of spun around, and disorientation causes you to lose your actions for the rest of your turn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that could have been worse.
It could have been
Yeah, that
worse,
could have
but
been way
still.
worse. That could have been way
Could have
worse.
been
I
way
was
worse, but-
expecting an arrow in my shoulder. So.
All right, and that means it is now Crowlip's turn.
Okay, so the creature standing in front of me, right?
Correct, it is right in front of you.
Prolop has become completely disassociated. From this point forth during the battle, this will be a third-person narrative describing what he's doing.
Here we see the wild Aarakocra establishing dominance over a nameless foe. The animated armor has so far proved ineffective, and so the Aarakocra makes an attack of its own.
What is that voice?
We wandered into a documentary.
Okay, gotcha. No, gotcha. All right.
First attack was a 25.
That's a hit.
Second attack is 17.
I'm afraid it bounced off the armor without causing any damage that time, but the first one is a hit.
Okay.
Slide between some of these plates and do some damage.
Okay, so that's 2d6 plus 3 for the hit. So that would be 8 damage.
Excellent, a solid hit.
The Aarakocra's first strike is true, but in its excitement, the second goes wide.
That brings us to Zartok. Zartok, you can see the giant chicken gets a solid hit on this armor. Kilantha has sort of tripped over this top step, and the armor doesn't seem very effective against the Aarakocra.
Okay, he's do I know if constructs like this are they immune from constitution saves and such like that, or I don't know as a player if that's true either. I just
they are immune to some things.
Okay.
You're not sure what.
Not sure what. Okay.
You could make an Arcana check if you want to try to figure some things out.
That's 26.
Oh wow!
Wow.
26.
Sorry,
Jeez.
it's 24. I can't math. I can't.
24.
It's
It's still pretty good. All right, I'll tell you
You
some
still
of.
got it.
I'll tell you their immunities. Damage immunities. They're immune to poison and psychic damage.
Okay.
And condition immunities. I'll give you some of them. They're immune to blinded, charmed, frightened, and poison.
All right. So he's going to extend a hand out and cast Frostbite, and so it has to make a Constitution save, 14 or stuff happens. He's like aiming at. Is it holding a weapon?
Yeah, it's holding a sword.
It's kind of like trying to make that cold, and so the armor starts to creak.
All right. It fails its saving throw. What's the damage?
So it takes 7 damage, and it will have disadvantage on its next weapon attack roll.
Ah.
My apologies. I should have taken 10 damage from my attack. I gain bonus damage since I'm in the rage.
You rolled 8, and so I need to add 2 more.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And that brings us back to the armor. So the armor is most concerned about the giant animal attacking it.
Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
seems fair.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and it rolls a 15 to hit. Does that hit Krolip?
No.
As his foe's sword swings downward, the Aarakocra swiftly darts aside, leaving nothing but empty air.
Did you just olay it with your wing? Is that what?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
It's Kilantha's turn.
Okay, grumbling to herself, she's gonna reload her crossbow and try again.
All right.
Well, that's better. That's 19 to hit.
That's definitely a hit. Much
And-
better.
And he is beside Krullup, so I get my sneak attack, yes?
Yes, you can do the sneak attack damage.
Yay!
Her smile returns.
All
as
right.
No, the smile got very maniacal. I just want everyone to know that.
Well, that's a terrible damage roll with a bunch of 2s
Yeah,
and a
that
1.
was pretty unlucky.
So that is 12 damage.
12?
Uh-huh.
That's a terrible roll, huh?
That's a
12?
terrible... There were 3 2s and a 1.
Yeah, that was.
That was a bad
All right.
roll. For my bonus action, I would like to use Master of Tactics.
Okay.
And it lets me do the help action as a bonus.
Uh-huh.
And so Krullup will have advantage on his next attack.
Great.
So it's like I point out a weak spot or something.
All right, Krolip, you're next.
So I have advantage in the next attack, right?
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
Having seen the advantageous position his companion has placed him in, the wild Aarakocra attempts to strike twice at his prey.
The first one is 23.
That's a hit.
And then the second one is 1 point short of being a perfect roll. So the second one's 25.
You do enough damage, I'm pretty sure, as a minimum to destroy this thing. How does Krolip destroy this armor?
So, okay.
With the first blow, the wild Aarakocra strikes the middle of the creature, dealing a mortal blow. Seeing that some life remains in its prey, the Aarakocra pecks at its head, effectively decapitating it. The Aarakocra's brutal savagery is again victorious, and it continues pecking at its fallen foe.
Crowlip pecks the armor to death, and it falls to the ground.